Okay, so I'm Alexandra Lungu, as Rita mentioned earlier. I'm representing the Romanian regulator. I've been working with the regulator in the past 18 years, not so much in the technical side, but in the communication side. Next to me, although you cannot see her, it's my colleague, who's director of monitoring from the past also like 16 years. So let's go. First, I want to thank you for the very good presentation before, Michael, because we already seen some risks that we are facing in our process of aggregation. So it was a very good presentation for us and a good example. So first, just some general information and background about the geographical area, the population, the area, the number of local authorities, also the water sources that you can find in Romania, and the number of providers of water services and sanitation. As for far behind, starting with the 2002, it's the basic frame law that established the entity that we are now, the regulator. We are the entity that is regulating, monitoring, and control all the, not all the public services, but some of the public services. You can see all the laws. I won't go through each because I think it's just cute theoretically. For any questions, we are available. As for the pre-accessing time and the accessing time for between 2006 and 2016, we would like you to see what was the how we harmonize the EU provisions for the water and sanitation services. As you can see, all the principles were in accordance with having an economic and social character, responding to the needs of the public interest, having a permanent character and continuous operation of the services. The setup was organized and coordinated by local public administration authorities and economic and efficiency principle orientated. Also, we had to adopt more legislation after the 2006, the law for public utilities, also the law for water and sewage services, which was a very important milestone. And also the tertiary regulations, which are the regulator is in charge with presenting and putting in the law the tertiary provisions. Okay, here we have some general rules of how is applied to the water and sanitation sector. You can see briefly where the local public administration stands and the operators, and also ANRSC, which is the regulator. Basically, we use direct management or delegated management. Everything is according to the tertiary regulation that is approved by the ANRSC when it comes in the terms of regulation of service, technical specifications, contract for providing the service to users, or tariff. And everything goes back to the customer. The aggregation and the regional, we call it regionalization actually, and the kickoff was back in 2008, and the legal premises also needed to adopt several normative acts, such as you can see government emergency ordinance and different government decisions that approved the Constitutive Act, the framework statute of the Inter-Community Development Association, IDA. And also, after this legislation was put in place, we had two new concepts: the regional operator, the regional operating company as the ROC, and Inter-Community Development Association. Now, the IDA as the Inter-Community Development Association, it's a cooperation structure with legal personality. It's set up under the law by the administrative territorial units for a joint realization of development project of regional interest or joint provision of public utilities. The ROCs are commercial companies with full social capital of some of all administrative territorial units, members of an IDA with activity at public service level. They have to provide performance of the public utility services within the area of administrative territorial units and to be members of IDA. The management and operation and administration of public utility systems related to them, as well as the implementation of public investment programs of regional or local interest intended for the establishment, modernization, in case, the development of technical and public infrastructure related to these services. The ROCs are established only on the decision taken by the deliberative authorities of the administrative territorial units that are IDA members. So the regionalization process was interested that the ROCs will have the fundamental capacity for the technical and economic point of view to be capable to access the European funds and also to ensure the investments that are coming after. This is just a brief chart about the relations with the ROCs. You can see the local authorities that are issuing the Constitutive Act, also giving the mandate to the IDA in order to award the delegation contract to the region, to the ROCs. The ROCs are supplying, ensuring the service supply and to the final user. And also the local authority is giving mandate to IDA, and the IDA is monitoring the performance of the services given by the ROCs. The regionalization process has to have cumulative conditions fulfilled, such as the administrative territorial unity must be member of an IDA, exert direct control and a dominant influence on the strategic or significant decision of the ROCs. The ROCs carry out only activities in the sector of provision of public utilities intended to meet the needs of the general public. The social capital of the ROCs is entirely owned by the administrative territorial units of the association. The participation of a private capital is excluded. Now the funding. So the funding for the ROCs is coming from the revenues provided, coming from the invoices, the revenues that are coming from provided services. The tariffs are advised by the regulator and approved by the municipalities according to our own framework, which was issued by presidential order in 2007. There are some exceptions and important changes between 2014 and 2016 for the ROCs. In the case of investments from public funds, such as European funds or other state budget funds, it's issued a unique price, tariff per operational area, and a price according to a pricing strategy approved by municipalities or IDA. The pricing strategy is in compliance with another methodology which is issued by the government. The prices and the tariffs for regional operators that already have been approved strategy as annexed as a delegation contract are approved by NRSH. So this is the exception that is made only for the ROCs. Establishing a unitary price for the ROCs is also subject of solidarity, if I may say so, because it's the principle that the urban is helping the rural area in order to implement these projects and to develop. Okay, so here you can see the evolution. We have 1,066 water and sanitation service operators. 44 are the ROCs, 2 are private municipal operators in the capital Bucharest and also in Ploiești, and the rest are local operators that are from municipality. But you can see that 90% out of the whole population is benefiting from the services provided by the ROCs and the 2 private municipal operators. Also, we have here a few description of the European funds that we accessed. First was in the period 2007-2013. And also right now, I think everybody's familiar with the LIOP, the Large Infrastructure Operational Program that also ended, but not actually, it's only theoretically, and other different European regional development funds. This is a chart about the population which is provided with water services between 2009 and 2019 for 10 years. We have a connection up to 71% for water services. The network length also, you can see here a chart. You can see that we're not there, but we're on a good path. The evolution is given also by the investments of the regional and municipal operators. The sanitation network, also here, our percent of connection is 54.5, maybe not a very good one, but we're learning our lessons day by day. Now, as for the conclusions and the next actions, the regionalization has had really good impact and has taken our water services sector to a very great leap in the last 10 years, such as significant improvement for quality service, very large scale investment projects implementation, based on a unitary development and common exploitation strategy, financial sustainability, affordable rates, capacity to ensure investments based on ROC's own financial resources. As other conclusions and next steps, unfortunately, despite the efforts already made, Romania is still behind the objectives on the Accession Treaty and national coverage with the water and wastewater as a service treatment. But the regulator, as very important, let's say one of the most important institutions that has to play a role in this market, has tried and still trying to put everything on path. That's why we were the beneficiary of a technical assistance ensured by WIX, which is also here. And their conclusions were very important. And moving on from that, or actually maybe in the same time, it was the PISA EBRD project, also given EBRD gave us reported a very high number that will help us comply, which is 22 billion euros. And to continue to comply with the EU directive at this moment, we really have we have two strategic objectives in order to achieve them: the compliance for EU directives and ensuring the sustainability. Also, the PISA EBRD established some main strategic directions. Also strengthening the regionalization policy, improving the efficiency and governance, defining an optimal financial strategy, and also the consolidation of the regulator. I will go to the last ones because I don't know how much time do I have. As the conclusion, in this very moment, the regulator is implementing another European project that aims to strengthen the regulator. And the first outcome from this project is an analysis of the economic regulatory framework in the field of water and wastewater in EU member states, and concrete proposal for economic regulation of services at national level. The proposals are structured on four levels: strengthening governance at the at the sector level, strengthening NRSC and operators' capacity, specific measures for economic regulation, and ruling out such as counterproductive incentive. At this very moment, the proposal of economic regulation is under dissemination at regional and local level. Thank you for your attention.